KCHW.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-fearing brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave, come on, man. Open up. I think the
Dave's not here.
Dave's not here, man.
No. Get to the escape plan. It's ruined.
As far as I'm concerned, this picture's over right now.
That's it. We're going home. Goodbye, everybody.
Come on, Chuck. You can't just swim, eat grapes, and play around all the time.
Yeah, but that's what he does.
I do. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the KCHW Morning Show. It is Thursday, April 17th. We're here with myself, Chuck Ritchie, and Scott Allen. Good morning, Mr. Sir. How you doing?
Good. Chuck, will you put our ugly mugs up on our streams? Nobody can see us on the website or Facebook.
Do I
YouTube.
have to?
Or to it?
There
Yeah.
we go.
I think
There
the
we
camera just broke.
Oh, good morning, everybody. You know, I was telling you before the show, it's that time of the year. I still got a little chill I can't get rid of. You know, it's that time where you're coming home in the evening. It's warm out. You don't think about it. You leave your coat in the car. Then you get up the next morning. You wake up. There's ice on the car, and your coat's inside, and you have to make it out there cold. Brr.
All right. I just made your window bigger, and you're looking really buff. Have you been working out?
You know, people have said that. I think I'm just getting fatter.
I try to give a guy a compliment, and look what happens.
No, actually, I have. I've been doing squats and push-ups and stretching a little bit more, and I have been doing a little bit of exercise. My knees are feeling a little bit better, but I'm not following my exercise with any kind of diet is the problem. Yeah.
All right. I've been dieting, and I told you before we started, and I threw out my back, so I haven't been doing any physical exercise. And I think in the past 10 days, I've lost 7 pounds. So I had 20 pounds to lose. I just crossed the first 10. So
Nice.
That's exciting.
That is incredible.
So
that's amazing.
yeah, I want to be able to actually wear shorts and a tank top this summer and have girls not go, "Ew."
You know what's been happening with me lately, and this is a little personal, but you know, back in 2021, at the end, I got sick and I ended up paralyzed out of it for about a year. I was in a wheelchair. My legs have been a little wonky since. You know, I haven't been able to really have the leg strength to squat and get back up again. You know, I kind of figured that my doctor even said, yeah, you'll probably always deal with that a little bit. Just in the last month or so, all of a sudden my leg strength has like shot way up. Like my legs finally decided to finish healing. And
Excellent.
it kind of came out of nowhere. And now I can squat and stand up and climb around stuff and actually use my legs. You know, I can put one leg on a chair and use it to stand myself all the way up on the chair. It's incredible.
All right. So this is the year where you're doing the marathon in Spokane.
Right? Yeah, I think we might stop short of that. But yeah, it's been.
What if I chase you with a gun?
Then
Look
yes,
at him
I would run.
go. All right, let's roll out weather for today, and our ski report all made possible by 49 Degrees North Mountain Resort. Now, just take a note, I believe the ski hill's on a Friday through Monday thing.
Yes, they
So,
are. Yep.
but we're still going to talk about them. But first,
Yeah.
weather. A high of 62 today. It's going to be sunny to partly cloudy. Not a bad day at all. A little cooler than yesterday, but still nice and warm. 33 for an overnight low. Friday, 66 under mostly sunny skies. 41 for an overnight low. Taking a look at the weekend. Saturday has afternoon showers and a high of 60, a low of 40. And Sunday has cloudy skies and a high of 58. That same cloudy skies and 25% chance of rain on Sunday will continue into Monday with a high of also 58 and an overnight low of 34. Next week looking nice with by the time you hit Wednesday, temperatures in the upper 60s near 70. There you go. And Chuck, with a look at the conditions at the ski hill.
Yeah, so if you go up to the base of the mountain, there's still 31 inches of snow at the base of the mountain. It is melting pretty fast, though, starting to warm up. Currently, right now, it's 36 degrees up there with 0 to 5 mile an hour winds, good visibility and sunny skies. All the way up at the summit, 185 inches of snow with sunny skies and 0 to 5 mile an hour winds, 34 degrees currently. As you mentioned, they are in their Friday through Monday schedule, but they will be open through the rest of April, and they're trying to get through at least the first week of May. So for more information about those mountain conditions or events happening at 49 Degrees North Mountain Resort, you can visit ski49n.com. And, back to the weather a little bit. This is that time of the year where the grass and the weeds and everything just go whoosh, like out of nowhere. They're just, I went around, I got a new lawnmower last weekend, the weekend before last, went around, kind of chopped up all the weeds that I didn't get rid of last year. And, the grass now is like a foot tall coming up underneath what I just mowed already. And it's been a week, and it's insane. Wow. It's growing so fast. Yeah.
They got all that water underneath, right?
Yeah. It's that time of the year. And the creek that goes through my backyard, before there was usually like a couple foot shelf where it kind of goes down, into the creek. I now have a nice gentle slope because the whole side of my yard collapsed into the creek.
And moved on down line.
I have a new beach.
Yeah. If someone finds Chuck Yard, please put it in the back of your truck and bring it back.
Right, please. There's about a 6-foot section of my yard that's just gone.
Right. Let's see. We've got breakfast and lunch for the kids. Are you ready to use your eagle eyes and decipher that?
I am, Scott, here. Let's see what we have. Moving on over to breakfast, we have today the French toast sticks with syrup and fruit and juice, or a fruit breakfast parfait and granola, or a variety of cereal with cheese stick or yogurt or bread or muffin. Of course, all those come with fruit or juice or your right choice of milk. Then for lunch today, we have hot dogs, tater tots, and fruit and veggie. Good old.
All right, there you go.
Good old classic. Yeah.
Yum, yum.
Yeah.
All right. Breakfast and lunch there for the kids. We made it through weather. And before we go to events, Chuck, I got a question for you. I was thinking about this the other day, and I kind of wonder, there's kind of a dance that like the host of the morning show has to do to keep things moving along. Are you
going to make me dance?
No, just cueing people, what's the next thing we're doing, that kind of stuff, and keeping the show moving forward. Interviews are tough. I like to do outlines so I stay focused, in the interview and get all the stuff in. But is it hard? My question is it hard for you? Because I trained you and I've always been the conductor. And then I've stepped back. So now you have these 2 days a week, since we kind of share the morning show with other people, but you have 2 days a week where you're leading it. And I kind of have 1.5 because Thursday's the both of us. When I take charge and cue things, does it throw you off? Because some days you're leading the show and then other times I kind of steal it from you on a Thursday. And I was just curious if it throws you off or if we just dance well together.
I think we're good dance partners because sometimes I do, and sometimes you're the guy. So sometimes I let you take the lead. Wait, you're the guy. That sounds wrong. Wrong context here.
No, we do dance well together. And Chuck, I'm sorry, you're the guy because I'm shorter.
Okay, true.
But no, it is. People probably don't realize it, behind the scenes. But I was just curious when I jump in there. Because like on Thursdays, I'll wait for you to say good morning and start the show,
right.
and stuff. And it's kind of different when it goes back and forth, but we never seem to throw each other off. So I was just curious if that causes Chuck any problems.
No, gosh, how long have we been doing this now? We started on the morning show together on Thursdays in 2018. So
yeah, long time.
Yeah,
long time. And
that
look
has
how
been a long
you've changed.
Oh,
Yeah. And you told me somebody called you the radio guy the other day, and I moved to Maine. So you really, and that used to be the name for people that don't know your name, but know you're on the radio or they've seen you. You're at the gas station pumping gas and they go, "Ooh, you're the radio guy." and you told me somebody called you that the other day. So you are, Chuck Ritchie is now the official KCHW radio guy. In fact, our tower guy, the antenna guy, modeled after Chuck.
That's right. After I lost the weight, not before. It is funny to be in the grocery store and you're talking to the clerk or whatever, and then you get people like looking at you and they look at you and you're like, "Hi," and like your voice, it sounds so. Oh, you're the guy on the radio. Yep, that's me.
When I used to go down and help at the carpet store when they had a problem or watch the door for them so they could sneak out for a half hour or something like that, and I would answer the phone. There was a couple times where I was talking about carpet on the phone and they would pause awkwardly and then go, "Are you the guy on the radio?" Nope. Today I'm selling carpet.
Radio's not exactly paying the bills, huh?
No. All right. Well, Chuck, would you like to kick off our events for today?
I would love to, Scott. And of course, we're trying to promote the Chewila.events calendar. Let me start off by saying, yes, this is for regional events. If it is adjacent or relevant to the area, you can submit your event to Chewila.events. There is a submission form that does go through moderation, so it'll have to be approved. However, if you are around the area and you have an organization that wants to become a partner on the calendar, it is free. It doesn't cost anything. You just appoint one person to be your calendar person and make sure you get your events on the calendar, and then you will get your logo on the bottom of the calendar. So there you go.
Wow.
And
everybody's going to try. We're trying to do this centralized, and
Exactly.
everybody's going to feed off the same calendar. So because the chamber's got one, the creative district has one, KCHW has one, and for years we've been trying to pull this off, and it never seems to work. Hopefully this time it will. And I know you guys in your conversation, somebody said on the air yesterday, well, shouldn't the community calendar just be for events in Chewila? And it actually prompted somebody that was concerned to call in and just know that our coverage and everything we will cover is our broadcast area. That's what we're licensed for. We have to serve our broadcast area, and we will do that. And that includes some places that people in Chewila might not realize. We've got a great signal in Well-Pennant.
Yeah.
So when you look at our broadcast map, which is on our website too, you can see the hot spots. We've got hot spots in Well-Pennant, Kettle Falls. We have some scratchy reception in Deer Park right downtown, but everybody around Deer Park can pick us up. Into the South Hill, into the Spokane Valley.
Yep.
Out to Creston, Wilbur. We kind of shoot down through Ford and Well-Pennant and straight out there into Central Washington. Other weird places. I mean, the biggest one I noticed, I was sitting at the Hayden Lake Walmart because we got rained out at the theme park at Silverwood. And then the storm left and the sun came back out. So we went to Walmart to get new clothes so we could go back to the theme park and enjoy our tickets. And while I was changing in the car, I bumped the radio dial and the radio came on and it was playing KCHW crystal clear at the Walmart in Hayden Lake. That's a long ways away.
That is awesome.
And there's some other spots and Usk. And there's places all over beyond Stevens County. We cover Stevens County really well. We bleed into parts of Spokane County, Douglas County. And if you can hear us and you've got an event, we'll broadcast it for you. You know, as long as you're a nonprofit, a community organization, a government organization, if you need some press, that's why we're here. We're a nonprofit too. So,
and then Friday mornings we do with Craig, we do the Northern Light Spotlight, and we have Craig started the Northern Light Spotlight Facebook page. It's for musicians, people looking for musicians, people looking for venues looking for musicians.
And we'll always support the arts.
Yeah. And so if you're a musician and you have a show going on that you want to promote, we'll talk about it Friday mornings. And every Friday, Craig's been really great about getting musical guests. In fact, tomorrow we have. Oh, I had a CD over here. It looks like. We have a Kenny Walker here tomorrow morning joining us. Talk about his album, Spokes and Spurs. So
I am so glad that you have. We used to do that in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it got slower and slower as I got busier and busier. And then by COVID, it was, kind of a done deal. I'm so glad you started up bringing the artists back in. And I always tried to do that on Friday too. I just think Friday going into the weekend is a great day to have some live music on the
live
radio.
music. And, it's Craig. I mean, that's huge thank you to Craig McQueen for doing all this and making all that happen on Friday mornings. He's been amazing at contacting these musicians and organizing this stuff and getting everybody on here.
Our new entertainment director. There you go.
And making it sound really good on the air too. So there's
Excellent.
that.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get on to events here. Today we have the Senior Citizens Potluck and Games. This is in Valley. Senior citizens from Chewelah, Valley, and Springdale are invited to join them on the first and third Thursday of every month for games and a potluck. This is at the Valley Fire Department building at 3060 3rd Avenue in Valley. And that supposedly for a while now has been really that's a hopping party right there. I guess there's lots of folks there involved. I've heard really fun stuff about that. The Chewelah Food Bank is open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today. A very important service here. And then Craig, speaking of Craig, he's going to be doing some karaoke tonight at the Oasis at 8:30. Then tomorrow morning, the Chewelah Chamber of Commerce is happening at 7 to 8 a.m. right here while we're on the air. But it is always a good one to find out what's going on, and the public is welcome. Adult pickleball is there's some question about this. We need to reach out and figure out if they're still at the old middle school gym or if they're ready to move back up to the golf course. I think they're still at the middle school gym until the old middle school gym until the weather sort of stabilizes here. But pickleball. And that goes from 9 a.m. to 11:30. I would get a hold of somebody if you don't know, if you're not already in the know and you're just trying to check it out. There's no contact information here, but maybe it's not hard to find people around here. So I still do believe they're at the old middle school gym. And we got lots of stuff happening on Saturday, so much so that, Sharon was in here yesterday and she had a mountain of papers and flyers and brochures. So I'm going to try and see if I can hit as many as I can. Not all of them were on the calendar. So
okay, all right.
And I've still got a couple different calendars up here. So there is, let's see here. We got the spring deck party that's happening at the 49 Degrees North Mountain Resort. The Spokane bike swap is happening. Let's see here. Goodness, I'm just going to start opening all these in new tabs because there's a bunch of stuff here. Saturday.
Well, you're doing that. Do you want me? I've got some from our website.
Yeah.
If you a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
First one I've got from the KCHW.org website is Town and Country Days in Kettle Falls is coming up June 6th and 7th. It's 2 days of entertainment, food, festival food, market vendors, bouncy houses and carnival games, live music, dancing, all sorts of fun stuff. They're looking for vendors for this event. And you can contact Nicole at 509-868-6575. They got some great rates if you want to share some of your crafts or maybe cook some food for people. And once again, that's coming up the 6th or 7th, so you don't have much time left to get signed up for that. Well, yeah, I guess you do. I was thinking May, but it's June. You got some time, but it's coming up the 6th and 7th. Of course, they want to get all their vendors signed up right now, so that's the push. 509-868-6575. That's Town and Country Days in Kettle Falls. Yeah. All right. Another note that came in. This one's from the Northeast Washington Forest Coalition. They've partnered with the Chewelah Valley Land Trust, and they're bringing you the third edition of the World Trails Film Festival on Friday, April 25th at the Chewelah Center for the Arts. There's going to be a raffle and refreshments. Doors open at 5:30. Show begins at 6. Tickets $15 for one, $25 for pairs, and are available for purchase at the Quartzsite Brewery. Now, from our morning show co-hosts, we have one from Val, and this is for the Deer Park Eagles. This is going on today, a free senior luncheon from 12 to 2. So if you got to go run some errands, you're headed to Spokane, maybe you're headed to Deer Park for something, stop by. The food will include chicken breast, rice pilaf, and a dinner roll with cookies and ice cream for dessert. All right, that's 12 to 2 today.
And did I read on there that it is a senior lunch, but all ages are welcome?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Events open to the public.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Deer Park Eagles today for lunch. Also from the Deer Park Eagles, they're going to be hosting an Easter dinner and kids carnival on Sunday, April. Oh, we missed that. That one's from last Sunday. I'm going to delete that. Very, very sorry about that. Chuck, why didn't you stop me?
I did see it up there. I was like, wait, what other one is he reading? Yeah.
I just knew we had two from her.
I knew that one was expired.
Right. That's all I've got right now from the KCHW calendar. What else do you have, Chuck?
Well, let's start further away and move our way back to Chihuahua here. The Spokane Bike Swap, that is April 19th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at it doesn't say where it is. Oh, it's at the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. There we go.
Okay.
Not on the poster, but it's on the calendar in addition to the poster. And then we have from the Ground Up Gardening Workshop. This is at the Spokane Community College Colville Center. This is happening, let's see, what is the time? 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Doors open at 8:30. You learn about preserving the harvest, canning, common pests and beneficial insects, bees, growing grapes, raising poultry, microbiology in your soil, seed saving, gardening on a dime. It goes on and on and on. A bunch of gardening stuff. You can go to, let's see where we are here. You do have to pre-register. You can go to wsu.edu/Stevens Workshop, or you can visit. This one is on the Chihuahua Chamber of Commerce calendar currently. And then we have Pinwheels and Paint. And this is in the Yepcanum Park. Am I always pronouncing that right? Yepcanum?
That's the way I always said it.
Something about that doesn't sound right in my head, but that's what we're going to do. The Yepcanum Park on Saturday, April 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is a creative celebration for CAPM. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Oh, it's Child Abuse Prevention Month. Yeah. So they have painting, pinwheel activity, connecting with the community. It is a family-friendly event to raise about child abuse prevention while fostering creativity and healing through art. And this is put on by Rural Resources. And let's see. Yeah, you just show up at the park there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Colville. And let's move on over to the other calendar. See, this is why we need one specific calendar, Scott. I'm all over the place here. And there's so much going on. Right here in Chihuahua, we have the Kiwanis Easter egg hunt, the annual Easter egg hunt at 11 a.m. The age groups are 0 to 5, 5 to 7, and 8 to 12. My 18-year-old was like, what? No older kids? So, yeah, no. 8 to 12, 12-year-olds is the max. This is going to be at the Chihuahua High School field, football and track field, also known as Snyder Field. And that's at 11 a.m. I think they're going to get started around 10, but they did warn us the other day that if you show up late, those eggs are going to be gone because they blow the whistle and those kids go out and boom, find
Well, that's about 2 minutes.
Yeah. There's a bunch of kids and they just don't get in their way. Don't get in their way.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I saw an old lady go down once.
Right? and then she got up and got knocked back down again.
Yeah.
And then we have
2-year-old.
And then from 11 to 2 p.m. is the at the Aaron Huff Memorial Cultural Center is the Chihuahua Creative District Creative Visioning Summit and Annual Meeting. They're going to talk about stuff they've done the last year, what they have up and coming, get some feedback from the community. There's going to be a couple of fun activities, and then the annual board elections are going to happen there. So, and there's 3 spots available on that board. So come on if you know somebody that's interested in helping. Or, you want to be part of the board, it's your chance to come and hear what they're all about and see if you want to be part of it. And that is what I have for Saturday. I know I'm missing stuff because I know there was more stuff yesterday. Sharon brought the heat. And then Sunday, of course, is the all-ages Blues and Brews Jam put on by the Dinosaurs. They're going to be at Fired Up Pizza from 4 to 8 p.m. And then, coming up next week, we got some more stuff, but we'll stop there because we covered everything yesterday. And then some. Yeah, it went on and on. We went on till 8:30 before we even took our break yesterday because we were going through all the calendar stuff happening in the next couple weeks. And it just kept going and going and going. It was a lot. So we're gonna stop there, but
all right. Should we move along? I got a few news headlines, and then I'll try to do them quickly, and then we'll jump into our fun stuff for today. First up, judge yesterday said he found cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt for violating his deportation order. White House also said it would appeal another judge's order to return a wrongfully deported man. Let's see. District Judge James Brosseberg accused the administration of disregarding his order to return planes headed to El Salvador back to the U.S. and threatened to refer the matter for prosecution if officials do not act to remedy the violation by April 23rd. In a separate case, the administration, which was ordered to facilitate Kilmar Abrego Garcia's return, released documents that it says tie him to the MS-13 gang and shared records showing his wife sought a protective order in 2021. She defended him, though, yesterday. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen traveled yesterday to El Salvador, where he said officials refused to let him meet with Abrego Garcia. Other Democratic leaders are reportedly planning trips there to help fight for his release. I shared this theory on Tuesday with Val. Since he fled because he was worried about gang violence, I don't know if he was wanted by gangs. I seriously doubt he's alive. Or why wouldn't the president have brought him when he came to visit a few days?
Well, what I've heard, and I actually I knew somebody who had a roommate who, in a similar situation from the same country, from El Salvador. And their gang activity there is very aggressive, and they I'm going to put air quotes around recruit. They force young kids into the gang groups, and force them to join a gang at a young age, and sometimes they get out. And this is the story supposedly with this gentleman was that he actually fled El Salvador as a teenager. His parents brought him to the United States to get him away from the gangs that he didn't want to join. His family didn't want him to join, so he came here to actually not be affiliated with the gang. And what they are seeing is the recruitment attempts from the gangs to get him to join that he refused. And they're seeing that as the connection to the gang. So,
wow, that's not really a connection.
No. And, I lived in Knoxville, Tennessee for a while in a really bad neighborhood, and we saw the same thing. We saw in my neighborhood murders happen from trying to recruit young children, and either the families or the children refused to join the gang, and then gang violence ensued because, if you're not with us, you're against us type mentality. And this happens a lot in gangs. When they try to recruit you and you refuse, then, you either have to flee for your life or face the consequences. And that sounds like that's what happened here. And they sent him right back into it.
Think about this, though, and what happened yesterday. 17-year-old male going to his buddy's house. The buddy calls the guy's dad and tells him that ICE just picked him up. And he says, what? He's a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid told the dad, and I'm just reading what the story said in the quotes, told the dad that one of the ICE officers told the other officer as they were arresting him that that's not the guy. And he said, take him anyway.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That is scary.
And this kid is already in El Salvador, and the father is just, distraught. I mean, he can't do anything. Nobody will give him any information. Bad stuff.
I worry about how the history books are going to look at our country right now with the way we're running these things. It's a huge human rights violation. We're not the type of country that does this, and yet here we are doing this stuff. It's gross.
It's amazing how fast the most notable country on the planet has slipped to the dark side. Yeah. And I never guessed our government was powerless to stop a president.
Right. And
we people want things overhauled, but there needs to be some protections put in that again, so that if we end up with another crazy old man, we can stop him.
Right. Well, right now the protections that are in place are just being ignored. So scary stuff. Scary stuff.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Not going to talk about tariffs. I'm not going to talk about Harvard because I'm tired of talking about Trump. But scientists say they found the strongest evidence yet of life in space after detecting photoplankton on a planet some 700 trillion miles away. That's right. We are not alone.
Wow.
At least there's some plankton somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds weird. Let's go into sports and wrap this up. Dallas Mavericks and Miami Heat clinched spots in the NBA playoffs last night. Meanwhile, the tournament took a controversial turn after NBA admitted refs blew 4 calls in Tuesday's Warriors versus the Grizzlies matchup. Oh.
Wow.
Now, 4 calls, that almost sounds like a game that should be played again, but they don't do that.
That sounds like the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Remember that Fire Festival, that big concert that was like going to be on an island?
Yes.
And everyone bought tickets and it never happened. And now they're trying to do it. The dude's trying to do it again.
Insane.
Right.
Who in their right mind? And the tickets are like 10 grand. Who in their right mind would do
get
that?
This, Chuck. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bad news for fans of Second Chances. Fire Festival 2, the sequel to the disastrous 2017 event of the same name, has been canceled.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just over a month before it's supposed to take place. You know, when they brought it out, they were doing it again. They didn't even have any bands signed up. And I don't think they could get any that wanted to risk being attached to that.
No. Who in their right mind would? You know, and the first time it wasn't that the people were stranded. Like there were people stranded there and being given like cold cheese sandwiches, you know, after paying thousands of dollars to get there. The whole thing was insane. Yeah.
All right. A couple things to watch on TV as I end this. Ransom Canyon, a new Western based on the book by Jodie Thomas, is on Netflix today. And on the field, the Mets and the Cardinals begin a 4-game series at 7:10 tonight Eastern time on the Major League Baseball app. That's it for my news, I guess, updates. And we're off, Chuck, to bits and breaks for today. And we're going to kick it off with some random deep thoughts. Chuck, I've got some there for you, and I got some for me. So here we go, deep thoughts. Kind of a struggle for us, right?
Right. Deep thoughts. Wait, hold on. Okay, I got one.
He's ready.
I got one. Hold on.
That could have went 2 different ways.
I need to catch my breath and air this room out now. All right. So cemeteries would be way more interesting if they put the cause of death on the headstone, wouldn't they? Yeah. We talked about this a little bit, and yeah, I think that'd be probably not our business, but a lot of fun. Sorry.
Something would be on mine as he died while cleaning his fish tank.
Yep. Would it be that you fell in, or would you be like reaching too hard and have an aneurysm or something?
Either way. Both are possible.
Scott's up on his tippy toes trying to reach over the side and reach. They make tools for that,
be
Scott.
59 any day now. I could just like fall over.
They make those little magnet things that you just like rub on the outside, Scott. You don't have to reach your arm all the way in anymore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, my deep thought, my first one, Chuck. Everyone you will meet today has poo in them.
Ew. So
I just found that one. Sorry.
So what everyone says about me is true. I am full of
yes.
Yeah. The Swiss must have been pretty confident in their chances of victory if they included a wine bottle corkscrew on their army knife.
I know we're gonna win. I know we're gonna win.
That seems like that should be a French army knife. You know, seems like a good French accoutrement. Yeah.
Oui. It comes with a comb.
Yeah.
For my mustache.
You can comb your mustache and your nose hairs.
Yes. Oui. All right. If you eat something with cheese filling, Chuck, you have now become the thing with the cheese filling.
Ooh. I like that. Now we're both full of it. All right.
Look at my belly.
Now I want a cheese sandwich.
Okay.
Every time a character dies on a TV show, I just feel bad for the actor who pretty much just got fired in front of us.
It's true. He's going to be looking for work.
And to this day, because of the movie Zombieland, my wife is still convinced all the time that Bill Murray died.
No, he died in that movie. I remember.
She has to keep reminding her, oh, that's right. That was just a movie. Not that she thinks that was his actual death, but in her brain, like, Bill Murray's gone, you know? Yeah.
All right, Chuck, for my next one, can you grab the, like, corners of your desk and hang on?
Okay, I'm ready. I got it. I got it.
Look at him. Okay. He's hanging on.
I'm hanging on.
water is really what a rainbow tastes like.
Oh, that's kind of beautiful, Scott.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
yeah.
you. It's the deepest thought I've ever had.
I like that one. Yeah. I'm never going to drink water the same, especially the stuff that has the rainbow skim on the top of it.
That really tastes like rainbow.
Right.
Yes.
That's like
And if you drink enough of it, you'll see one.
reminds me of Texas.
Yeah, where the oil slicks just float on top of the water. It's so pretty.
Full of
Like rainbow.
rainbows. Everywhere. Rainbows everywhere.
I use my big hat to make shade so I can see the gas on top of the water.
Yeah. Love it so much my skin radiates and glows after the shower. Yeah.
I made somebody really mad. They were bragging about the mountains, Texas, which I told them, I said, those aren't. I said, I'm from Washington. I'm sorry, those aren't mountains. We ski over those. We call them moguls.
The great mountain ranges of Texas.
Yeah. I can see right over it, and I'm just standing next to it.
Wow.
And all their trees, they have some pine trees, but they're only like 4 feet, 5 feet tall. They're really
When they got those the mesquite trees, you ever driven through and seen big fields of mesquite trees? They're all like gnarly and craggled. Yeah.
They smell good though.
Yeah. I do like the pecan farms. The pecan farms are fun, but they're full of wild hogs. Yeah. True story.
All right, you ready for your last one?
I am. So if aliens come to Earth, we have to explain why we made dozens of movies in which we fight and kill them.
And win with Swiss Army knives.
I think that would be the funny part, that they would laugh at us. Is you think you could beat us? That's cute.
All right. For my last deep thought, Chuck, I'm going to ruin Easter.
Okay.
Sorry, kids. It's just, something you got to do as a DJ. Every hollow chocolate bunny, is carrying a pocket of air from somewhere else in the world.
Well, again, I kind of like that. I guess it depends on where they're made. There's some air I wouldn't want.
China, Chuck. It's China.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, when you bite into the bunny, a puff of smoke comes out. It's smog.
Ironically, though, the air in China generally much cleaner than what we have here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is ironic.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back and forth on the next ones, Chuck. Okay. It's 15 years ago. These gadgets were considered on their way out. We're going to go down the list and see which ones are actually gone. First up, Chuck, go ahead.
Landline phones. They, I guess, are kind of still here, but also disappearing. Do you have a landline phone?
Oh, no. I think it's just old people.
My parents.
Seriously, I'm old, but seriously, old people still have landlines.
My parents about 4 years ago moved, and they did not get a landline in their new house.
Good for them.
Yeah, so they said, you know what? We are. Nobody uses these things anymore, and I'm like, whose parents are you? My mom still writes checks at the grocery store checkout line. All right.
Floppy disks. They are mostly gone. The only people still using floppy disks in America is the U.S. government.
I was just going to say that has got to be the only time where they're still in use.
Yeah, it is. It is. They still have like certain things that they haven't upgraded yet where they need floppy disks.
Well, and do you ever have to get information or paperwork to a government agency? You know what most of them still make you use? A fax machine. Yeah. I always tell them the 90s called, they've got your fax machine. Yep. The last one here, or not the last one, next one, wristwatches. High-end watches are collected every day. Everyday watches are still, oh, this is a typo. Everyday watches are still worn by businessmen and as a fashion item by many guys. Of course, now we have watches that play music, take our pulse, and make calls. I still count those. Lame. Yeah, I still can't count those as a watch, but my wife, she got a smartwatch a few years ago, and was like, meh, and stopped wearing it because it was kind of lame. It was kind of dumb. It didn't make any sense. So yeah. And that goes along with I don't see that in here, but remember in high school, I joke about this a few times. Your teachers would always say, you got to learn this stuff because you're never going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket.
Yeah, I am.
Mr. Hinkston, you were wrong, buddy.
VHS tapes and VCRs. You can't rent them anymore, but there's probably a few people listening to us that still pop a tape in a VCR every once in a while, especially because of the home movies. The one I regret not having anymore, just for fun or nostalgia, is my old Sony Betamax.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? The VCR is like my kids came home dragging a VCR and in a box full of cassette tapes from a yard sale one time, and they're like, "Oh, cool! Look at this old stuff we got." And they're enamored. You know, younger kids are enamored by the stuff that we had when we were kids, and you know they want to use it. And it's funny to see some of the stuff coming back because now it's vintage and it's nostalgic and it's cool. Yeah,
except for 8-tracks.
Right. We have every episode of the original Star Trek, every movie, all the way through the Next Generation and the Next Generation movies, all as a box collection on VHS.
No way.
Yeah. Of course, we put in the worst one about the whale.
That's the best one.
We put that one in to test the VCR that we got with it, and of course, it immediately ate the cassette. So,
but that is the best one, Chuck. Just so you know.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
All right, Ken tapping in this morning and saying hello.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
What do you got next, Chuck?
Okay, what do I have next here? I was overlooking at Ken. All right, so we have beepers. Beepers. Ooh, a handful of professions, including doctors, still use them. And
film cameras.
And when you're waiting for your order at Chili's.
Yeah. Just restaurants use them now, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's good. Film cameras like LPs and cassettes. Film has made a comeback.
It has. A different quality, different feel than digital. You can't quite capture that. Yeah. And typewriters, they're mostly dead and gone, but a few hobbyists still play with them. Nothing like that clickety clack.
Our most famous local magician, Eric Stevens, is a collector of typewriters. Yeah, the more classic, the better.
Yeah, interesting. We used to have one in a suitcase growing up as a kid. That was an electric typewriter. It was like in a suitcase. You'd open it up, and click the little things, and it was a typewriter inside, and it made this really loud whirring noise. Yeah, yeah, it was loud. All right, the walk.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Walkman and Discman both gone. Oh, did I do typewriters? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Walkman and Discman.
No, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. I have a Walkman.
Mm-hmm.
I have the cassette Walkman in my living room on display.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, that's another one. The kids, man, they've gone out and they've actually searched eBay and they have Walkmans and Discmans. Both kids, yeah. Just because they're fun.
Dial-up internet access still here. 200,000 Americans are still using dial-up.
There are a few businesses around here I've been to that still use dial-up.
I'm sorry. I was going to start guessing, but then I thought that might be a bad idea.
I bet you could.
Yeah. If Lynn was still in business, I'd say it was him. All right, dial up. Wow, that's scary.
There was a place around here recently. It's a type of business that you have to use an ATM. They don't accept cash or they don't accept cards. Used until very recently, used a dial up, and it was at an ATM machine, incredibly slow. Might as well pull up a chair. Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you, Chuck.
Yes.
I have a buddy as an adult who still likes to call shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
When there's three of us, is that a thing that your kids do when you're going somewhere? Do they fight over who gets to ride shotgun?
They will not even ride in the front seat if it's just the two of us in the car. They ride in their seat in the back. They have
really, so you're driving around with one kid in the back like you're their chauffeur.
Yeah, they have their spot.
You're one pathetic loser, man.
I know, right? But they've got like their pockets back there, and they've got all their stuff, and it's like their comfort zone, I guess. I don't know.
I had to throw my kid in the back seat when we were going through the McDonald's drive-through because my driver's window wasn't working.
Order from the kid in the back.
I stopped right before the driveway and I said, "Get out." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Get in the back because my window don't work." All right, so here comes Chuck. Oh, do you know why they use the term shotgun?
I do not. I'm hoping we're about to find out.
You are about to find out. All right. So this comes back from the days of the Wild Wild West when everybody got around in horse-drawn wagons.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's always two guys on the bench. The one had the shotgun.
Oh.
Riding shotgun.
Yeah.
So one holds horses and one fends off attacks from bandits and outlaws. And here comes Chuck with the rules of playing shotgun.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. The definition. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why my kids sit in the back, because they don't want to deal with bandits and outlaws. Yeah. Even if the other passenger is your grandmother with a broken leg, if she does not call shotgun first, her butt's going in the back seat. Sorry, Grandma. Did I hear you say shotgun, Grandma? Sorry. Maybe next time. Follow the rules.
And it's okay to put Grandma in the back seat if you actually give her a shotgun.
Right?
Yeah.
Why am I picturing Granny from Beverly Hillbillies? Shotgun.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Your turn. Or we go
All
back
right,
and forth.
if two people call, go ahead.
Okay.
I was giving them to you, so keep going.
Okay. If two people call shotgun at the same time, a fist fight will determine the ultimate winner. I love doing that with my kids.
Yeah.
This is why they don't do that anymore. If a trip is interrupted for over 4 minutes for fuel, potty stops, etc., the shotgun passenger loses all of their shotgun rights, and open season on the coveted position begins again. There you go.
I have an idea, Chuck. Will you go in your car
Mm-hmm.
and you said your kids have their own pockets in the back of the car?
Mm-hmm.
Will you change all the stuff around?
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Change it all around and act like you have no idea what they're talking about.
This isn't my
You've
book.
always sat, tell them you've always sat on that side of the car.
Wow.
Will you film it so we can play it on the morning show?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Oh man, that's gonna. I don't think they'll fall for it, but maybe. I like it. All right. A shotgun call from a 265-pound linebacker automatically cancels out the shotgun call from literally anybody else. Yeah.
Especially me.
Yeah. And the last one here, pre-shotgun calling, strictly prohibited. No, once. I agree. Shotgun counts between the front door and the car and not a step sooner. If you hit the door running, yelling for shotgun. If you step out of that door and you forget or you hesitate, sorry, buddy. You're sitting in the back. Yeah.
All right. I did these out of order. So I'm going to skip that next story on your sheet, Chuck. And since we're talking about cars and shotgun, crazy things that people have done behind the wheel. Now, truckers were asked to describe some of the weirdest thing they've seen people do on the road. If you were to ask me my stories of how many times I've avoided a tragic accident or a car crash on the freeway traveling back and forth between Washington 3 times now, I think like 5 or 6, every single time it was a trucker. So I'm not asking them nothing. I mean, I love that we get our stuff from them, but you guys really need to improve your driving skills. Anytime I'm on the freeway and there's like a near miss, it always involves a semi truck trying to drive you into the ditch or cut you off or
there's a thing here in Chihuahua at our stoplight, our one stoplight, almost every single morning. I'm to the point now when the light turns green when I'm crossing over the highway, I just wait because inevitably if there's a semi within eye shot, it's going to run the red light almost every single morning. A semi runs that red light.
And this is a fault, I guess, of their employers because they drive them so hard. And they got all these timing things they have to pay attention to. It can't be easy. But anyways, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
These were things that truckers shared that they saw. And I guess they get a bird's eye view because they're up high. One time on 405 in LA, a trucker says he saw a woman switch from a very nice business outfit into her gym clothes. And at one point, she was just sitting in the car in her underwear.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
How about this lady who had her baby in the front seat next to her and was changing the diaper while driving?
That's not a good idea. No, don't do that. Don't.
Wow. He says, this one says, I saw a gentleman one time in a Suburban, and he had a full-size piano keyboard setting between the two seats, and he was using the right hand to play music as he drove down the road.
Maybe his stereo was out.
Well, if it's an automatic, I know you're supposed to keep both hands on the wheel, but if you got a piano, who's not going to plunk on it?
Right? One hand on the wheel, one hand on the keys, like the old saying goes.
The thing I find the hardest to play when I'm driving is trombone.
Right? I broke my windshield once trying to do that.
What's the second most hardest musical instrument to play while driving?
I'm going to go with, it's a toss-up between the accordion or the bagpipe.
Actually, tuba.
Tuba.
You can't see nothing.
No.
You got to drive and blow with your head out the window.
I'm not going to try that one again.
Yeah, you learn.
Right.
Let's see. Here's one. He says, I see a lot of people sewing and knitting while they're driving, and that takes two hands.
Yes, it does.
But those palms can do a lot on the steering wheel.
They can, right? You have very, very functional hands, I guess. Yeah. Crazy.
Let's see. I was in Indiana or Ohio, and a woman was driving down the road, steering with her elbows and eating a bowl of soup.
I do a lot of. My wife gets on me because I do a lot of eating while I drive. And if she'll get fast food and make us wait till we get home to eat the fast food, which to me is it's gone by the time we get home. It's not any good anymore. You got to heat it up in the microwave. It's gross. But soup, a burger, French fries, yeah, eat it while you're. But soup. No, not a driving food unless it's in a sippy cup.
That's what I was gonna say. Why didn't you just put it in a cup and eat your soup? Why would you do it with a bowl and a spoon?
Right. And they make soups with actual like little toddler sippy cups now that are great.
Yeah. All right. I want to see you eating one on the show. Okay.
Sippy cup soup. Yeah.
This trucker says, what I see all the time is women steering with their knee with the makeup mirror in one hand and a brush in the other, putting on eyeshadow and blush and going 70 miles an hour. He says, usually they're going back and forth across the line, running over and hitting the rumble strips. I just honk my horn at them. And then that's when they stab themselves in the eye with the... and then it causes a big wreck. Don't blow your horn at them. Just let them do their makeup.
Yeah. Or better yet, just don't do your makeup while you're on the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here's one. One guy actually had a paperback book taped to his steering wheel, and it would move when he turned the wheel, and so would he. Just keep reading. Just keep reading.
You were saying it takes two hands to knit. It takes two eyeballs to read.
Yeah, but any old moron can drive, as we well know.
One thing not included in the driving test is an IQ test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Chuck, that is the end of part one. Yeah, we needed some applause for that. When we come back, local birthdays. If we have some time, we'll play trivia. Also, we've got celebrity birthdays today in history and odd news, so you don't want to go anywhere. It's Northern Lights Public Radio. It's your Thursday morning show on KCHW 102.7.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave, come on, man. Open up. I think the cops.
Dave's not here.
Dave.
You're mocking me.
Yes, I am.
My crime fighting leaves me little time for social engagements.
Yep.
It's 8:16.
Your KCHW morning show is made possible by donations from
Colville Toyota. Colville Toyota, located at 160 West 3rd Avenue in Colville, offers new and used vehicle sales and service. Vehicle sales is open 8:30 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with a Toyota Express Maintenance Center open 7:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information on Colville Toyota's vehicle inventory and services is available at colvilletoyota.com. A small-town dealership with a big heart.
and by Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Dell Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast for Thursday, April 17th, 2025. I'm Edwin J. Vieira. Meanwhile, federal workers in Virginia are part of a national labor union lawsuit filed against President Donald Trump's executive order to strip collective bargaining rights from nearly 1 million federal employees. Zamon Perez reports.
The Trump administration had already ended collective bargaining agreements with Transportation Security Administration employees. Scott Robinson, the president of his local TSA union in Virginia, says federal workers like himself are not the enemy. He adds that these actions threaten protections from unfair disciplinary actions or firings without cause.
There's a huge effort to portray federal employees as guys in gray suits who make hundreds of thousands of dollars and work in a fancy office in D.C. That's not the case. The federal employees that you interact with are park rangers, they're TSA officers, they're the SSA clerks, they're the VA nurses.
The Trump administration says the order is needed to protect America's national security interests and defend the president's agenda. The order revokes the collective bargaining rights of federal workers involved in national security issues. That spans federal employees at nearly 24 agencies, including the Defense Department and Justice Department.
New Mexico's national parks generally operate year-round, but they might not operate at 100% efficiency this year due to employee firings, layoffs, and buyouts. Roz Brown has more on that story.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration told some 2,500 National Park Service workers to resign or retire and promised still more cuts to the agency. Responding to criticism about the move, the U.S. Interior Secretary ordered national parks and historic sites to remain open and accessible. Kate Grotzinger with the Center for National Western Priorities believes that's a dilemma for parkgoers.
Visitors could be put at risk by not having adequate search and rescue staff available. So ordering the parks to reopen without adequate staff is a bad idea. It doesn't serve anyone.
According to state data, as Medicaid and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, face cuts, Michigan's most vulnerable stand to lose the most. Crystal Blair has more.
In the Great Lakes state, more than 2 million people count on Medicaid, and more than 1 million of them are kids. When it comes to putting food on the table, more than 1 million Michiganders rely on SNAP benefits, which include 1 in 4 children. Amber Belizaire with the Michigan League for Public Policy, or MLPP, emphasizes how the ripple effects of these proposed cuts could create widespread challenges, even for those not directly enrolled in Medicaid or SNAP.
If a rural hospital closes because they're operating on razor-thin margins and have lost a significant amount of their funding because of Medicaid cuts, that hospital closes not just for Medicaid enrollees, but for all folks in that community.
Supporters of the cuts contend that these programs place a heavy burden on the federal budget, discourage work and self-reliance, and are susceptible to fraud and abuse.
This is Public News Service. Federal Judge James Boasberg is beginning contempt proceedings against the Trump administration for defying his order to remove migrants through the Alien Enemies Act. This 18th century wartime law has only been used 3 times before, but Trump says the nation is at war, calling the influx of migrants an invasion. This comes as the administration and the El Salvadoran government are refusing to return people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia and Merwel Gutierrez back to the U.S. after falsely detaining and deporting them. The treatment of manure runoff in drinking water sources is a health threat across the country, including including in North Carolina, according to a new report. Eric Tegedoff has more.
A disinfectant byproduct from treating water is trihalomethane, which can be toxic at high levels. The Environmental Working Group's report on the chemical ranked North Carolina 7th for most water systems testing at or above the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's maximum standard. Ann Scheckinger with Environmental Working Group says manure applied to hog and poultry farm fields in North Carolina runs off to bodies of water used for drinking water, which utilities clean.
Then the chlorine or other disinfectants react with the organic matter that's in the manure that washed off farm fields. And so then this can trigger the production of these disinfection byproduct chemicals.
4% of North Carolina's water systems, serving more than 4.2 million people, tested at or above the trihalomethane limit between 2019 and 2023, according to the report. The Environmental Working Group found more than 122 million people across the U.S. are affected by this issue.
Today marks the last day of Black Maternal Health Week, a nationally and internationally recognized observance that serves to build community collaboration around addressing the maternal health statistics for Black women. Judith Ruiz Branch reports.
Black women in the U.S. are more than 3 times more likely to die of a pregnancy-related cause than white women and are more than 2 times more likely to experience complications that negatively impact their health. The majority of them are preventable. The week-long campaign that serves to highlight these disparities was founded in 2018 by the Black Mamas Matter Alliance. Executive Director Angela Ina says while there have been great strides since the launch, more attention needs to be paid to the root causes of maternal morbidity and mortality.
It really does point to how pervasive and how systemic and structural gendered racism and obstetric violence is very, very much seeped in our systems.
The rate of adverse outcomes for Black women in Wisconsin have increased significantly in the past decade, with Black women across the state more than 1.5 times more likely to experience them and more than 2 times more likely to experience a pregnancy-related death.
The Trump administration is halting construction on a New York offshore wind farm. The Empire Wind Farm is designed to power more than 500,000 homes across the state and was part of developing its green economy. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum paused the project, citing it needs further review of information, suggesting the Biden administration rush the project's approval without sufficient analysis. I'm Edwin J. Vieira for Public News Service, member and listener supported. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Don't forget, you can listen online too at kchw.org.
That happened right as I grabbed my mic. I thought I did something.
All right, people, let's do this thing. Go Team Dynamite. I thought we agreed we'd go by the name of Team Super Cool. As I recall, it was Team Awesome.
I voted for Team Alpha Wolf Squadron.
All right. From henceforth, we ought to be known as Team Alpha Super Awesome Cool Dynamite Wolf Squadron.
I like it. That's a good description for us, Scott. Good morning.
We're not actually a team, though, are we? We're more of a duo.
That's right. And who's the sidekick here?
We'll flip for it.
To the Batmobile.
I'm taller. But age
Why do I always have to be the girl when we're dancing? Because I'm short and I have hair? Why do you get to be Batman and I have to be Robin? Because I'm short and I wear tights?
Well, you do have better hair. It is the
tights. Hoping it was the tights. I was pretty sure it was the tights. I can't believe it's not the tights. All right, Chuck, I did have one more deep thought, though, before we kick off part 2 of the KCHW morning show. Mm-hmm. I think that every day now should be April Fool's Day.
I agree.
Do you know why, though?
Why? Why is that?
Because it's the one day of year when people critically evaluate news articles before they accept them as facts.
Oh.
Was that good?
That is good.
It's the only day we examine the news really well to make sure it's true.
There's a reason why so many fake news stories come out on April Fools, because they know people will just read them and believe them. Just like half the other stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Half is being generous.
Part 2, local birthdays, Chuck. I want to know if we have anybody to celebrate in Chihuahua today. And if you ever have thought, boy, I never hear my birthday, well, maybe you're not on the Lions Club calendar. And you can do that through kchw.org. We got a link there to the Lions Club on our members page. And down below that is the form that you can download and fill it out. And then you have to catch one of our local Lions. You can do that through the website. And also know that Tom works every Tuesday night. And Tom is one of the Lions, and he will make sure that form and your money would get to the proper people.
Yeah.
Or anybody you know that is a Lions Club member can take care of that for you and get you on the calendar. And who do we have today, Chuck Ritchie?
I talked to them about that the other day too, because usually they have their drive that they do, where they're submitting those names. You can submit those names all year long. You don't have to wait until they do that in the fall. All right, so today we have just one name on here. We have Sue Schlatter with a birthday today.
All right, all the applause for Sue. There we go. Celebrity birthdays today. Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings is 66. He's an English actor. I don't know if you know who he is by name, but he always gets supporting actor roles, but I think he's awesome. He's always a standout.
Well, he's a great actor, and he always gets killed. He always plays like the actor that everybody loves. He always has these great characters, phenomenal actor, always gets killed. Killed in first season of Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones.
Did he die in Black Death?
Probably.
Probably. And also he must be quite the swordsman, because the majority of his movies are set in medieval times.
Yep.
So he must be a pretty good fighter. All right. Jennifer Garner, we know she's a good fighter, 53.
She's a spy.
She was married to Ben. Come on. All right. Victoria Beckham of the Spice Girls. Posh Spice is 51. Mara Rooney from Mary Magdalene and the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 40. And Phoebe Denever from Bridgerton is 30. And here comes Chuck with history.
I don't know who that last one was, and I've watched Bridgerton. Right? In 1865.
Did you like it, Chuck? Did you like Bridgerton?
I really did. I thought it was a fantastic show.
I did too, but not usually a thing I admit as a guy.
No, I thought it was fantastic. It was.
It is a good series.
Yeah, really good series. It happened today in 1865. Mary Surratt was arrested as a conspirator in the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Ooh. 1907, Ellis Island Immigration Center processed 11,747 people, more than any other day in history. Interesting. That is crazy. 1964. I wonder what happened this day in 1907. Was it tax day? They all came to sign up and do their taxes. No, that was a couple days ago. Days ago.
Right.
Yeah.
You missed it.
I know I did. Oh, but did I? Did I really? I haven't missed it. Not at all.
I'm not missing nothing.
Right? In 1964, the Ford Motor Company unveiled the Ford Mustang at the New York World's Fair. The base price was only, get this, $2,368. I know they talk about inflation. Yeah, that was a lot more money back then. It was, but it was not the equivalent of what a cheap car costs today. Yeah. Check out the April 12th issue for more facts and trivia about the first Ford Mustangs.
Me and Val actually covered that because she had her Mustang out and posted a picture on her Facebook. So, and I know what a Mustang fan she is. So we covered everything about the Ford Mustang on Tuesday. And if you want to check that out, it's on our video.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
And I don't know what it was, what Val had, but Val laughs the entire show. She had the giggles.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. All right, in 1964, the FBI lab reported that it could not determine the lyrics on the Kingsmen's recording of Louie Louie.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard. But I bet you could probably ask the Kingsmen, hey, could you provide us with some lyrics for that song? And they'd probably say, yeah, here you go. Yeah.
It was the FBI, so maybe they were playing it backwards.
1970, the ill-fated Apollo 13 spacecraft returned safely to Earth, which was really impressive. What those guys went through to get that ship back to Earth, incredible. 1973, the Federal Express delivered its very first package.
Okay.
1980, police in Lansing, Michigan arrested 3 adult sisters for running around their neighborhood nude after smearing their bodies with mustard, of course. The lady said they were looking for the Garden of Eden.
Huh.
What did they consume before they did this?
I did that once, but just once.
Just the one time, yeah. But,
Yeah.
but it's okay because you had your tights on.
And it was ketchup.
Yeah. What kind of tights were you wearing, Scott?
My Robin tights. Whitey tighty?
Yeah. Tights. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 2003, a 34-year-old research scientist who'd had too much to drink stumbled home and fell asleep in a house where he had lived 7 years earlier. I mean, we've all been there, right? Right. Wow. The police were called when a teenager came home to find the intruder asleep in the teenager's bed in Oxbridge, England. Police took the scientist to his own home and did not file the charges.
Oh, I had that once, but it was a car.
You fell asleep in somebody else's car?
Yeah. The door was open.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't read the next one.
Okay. Oh, nope.
Because if you do, I'll make jokes, and that would be bad.
I do remember that one. I'm not going to go there. 2014, NASA's Kepler Space Observatory confirmed the discovery of the first Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone of another star.
And I'm going.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going. Wow. Another speck of dust hurtling through space at unimaginable speeds. All right. 2021, the global COVID-19 death toll passed 3 million. Ooh, that's a sad. 2021, the funeral of Prince Philip was held under COVID-19 restrictions at Windsor Palace, England.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Seems like that was
All
longer.
right.
It seems like that was longer ago than that. Wow. That's crazy.
Special offense for today.
Yeah.
First up, it is Bat Appreciation Day.
To the Batmobile.
I do love my bats. Yeah.
It's Bookmobile Day. And you know, kids would be a lot more excited about the Bookmobile if it went really fast.
Right? Or if it was, in fact, the Batmobile full of books.
Yeah. Be a lot more interesting to go into.
Appreciate
All right, it's
that,
also,
kids.
it's also Banana Day, which I'm highly allergic to.
Oh.
You ever heard of anybody being allergic to a banana
I was
before?
just thinking that's weird, man.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I just during the break I was ordering my dog's on a new diet from the vet because of his allergies he's got a really bad ear infection. Kangaroo food is about the only food that we've eliminated it to that won't give him allergic reaction.
Wow.
Did you know that they make and sell dog food made out of kangaroos?
Wow.
Not
How's it taste?
I don't know.
What'd the dog say?
Weirdly, it smells pretty good. It's bizarre. Not for sale in the state of California. I have to put that disclaimer out there. Yeah.
I opened a can of cat food the other day that smelled so good. I was like, sandwich?
Like liverwurst.
All right. We covered Banana Day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Strange thing to be allergic to, bananas.
It is.
You know what it proves, though, Chuck, being allergic to bananas?
What's that?
That I don't know about the rest of you, but at least I didn't evolve from apes.
Ooh. You know, my wife has a birch tree allergy. You know what she can't eat because of a birch tree allergy?
Aspirin, anything with
Any
aspirin.
fruit containing pectin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, which is pretty much fruit. Any fruit. Yeah.
All right. We already covered this one. International Ford Mustang Day, International Haiku Poetry Day.
Ooh, do you have a haiku prepared for us, Scott?
I do not. Do you,
Okay.
Chuck?
I don't remember what the format is off the top of my head. Sorry.
I do somewhere have a poem.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Let me see if
Okay.
I can. Oh, here it is.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Are you ready? It's not a haiku,
I'm
but
ready.
it is a poem. All right. Stronger than steel, yet lighter than cotton. Found in a corner, forever forgotten. I bother so many, but marvel a few. You can't seem to make me. I'm a mystery to you. What am I, Chuck?
Oh.
Ignore the last two.
Okay.
So, stronger than steel, lighter than cotton, found in a corner, forever forgotten. I bother so many, but marvel a few. It's in a corner, up in the ceiling.
It's in a corner. Is it a spider web?
It's a spider web. All right, so there's the poetry. Let's continue with today's goofy holidays. It's Crawfish Day. It's Kickball Day. World Hemophilia Day. Don't cut yourself.
Nope. Don't do that.
Nope. And you're in the perfect location. Congratulations! It's Cheese Ball Day. It's Chuck.
Right. I've been called that once or twice before.
All right. Do you know what the Mandela effect is, Chuck?
Yeah. Where there's a famous person that you really feel like they've passed away a long time ago, but they are not, in fact, passed
Similar.
away.
I watched a video on this last night, and it exploded my brain. So I'm going to give you. My notes are in the living room, but I wish I had in my hand. I'm going to try to do it from memory. Which, yeah, good luck. All right, here we go. So I'm going to say. I'm going to do the Oscar Mayer theme song intro, and you're going to spell the stuff. So,
okay.
My baloney has a first name. It's
Oscar.
My baloney has a second name. It's
Meyer.
And that's what everybody sings.
Is it Ayer?
It is.
Wow.
Everyone, most of the population does not remember Oscar Mayer being spelled with an A. All right, next one.
I'm even seeing in the picture of the package in my head, and there's two E's in there.
All right, now.
Okay.
Darth Vader's most famous line is Luke's hanging there with one arm.
Did not say, Luke, I am your father. He says, I am your father.
He does not.
He doesn't. I thought he said, I am your father.
He says, in the movie, he says, no, I am your father.
Yeah.
We'll quote that movie over and over. James Earl Jones' handwritten notes say, Luke, I am your father.
But the actual...
He swears that he voiced, Luke, I am your father.
Wow.
There's more. I had 5 of these I did with a friend, and I'm really digging in my brain. And
did they change it after the fact?
No. Oh, the television show with those 4 trashy ladies in the city. What's it called?
Teletubbies.
Chuck. No, what's that show called? Say it.
Sex and the City.
It is not. It is Sex and the City.
The
production company says they've never changed the name. Oscar Mayer says they never changed the name. This movie, and I caught it on Tubi, parts of it were good, parts of it were bad, was very, very interesting. Like I said, I had 5 of these I asked one of my friends about on the phone, and they're all very similar to that, where the collective consciousness. Sally Field had a famous line from the Oscars where she said, and people redo it in movies all the time, where she says, you like me. You really, really like me. When you go back and watch the Oscars, that's not what she said at all. She also claims that in all movies and in her entire life, her name has been Sally Field, not Sally Fields. But when you go back and look at every movie poster she's ever been on, it all says Sally Fields.
Huh.
So now we've got like half of the population that's remembering things one way, and half the population that remembers things the other way.
Wow.
The creators of this video came up with 3 possible scenarios for this. We're all just dumb, like music lyrics, which I don't buy because it's so widespread.
Right.
Not that I'm into this super big conspiracy theory, but it is something strange in our collective cultural psyche. So they broke it down to the apocalypse and religion, which I don't buy off on. The second thing they broke it down was to these changes supposedly in the collective conscious of the way things were all happened when they fired up the CERN what do they call it? Hydro collider?
Yeah, the Hadron...
Hadron collider.
Yeah.
When they fired that up when they had the problem. Okay. Also, this last time they fired it up. So then I went and did some research on CERN. it's very spooky. The last time they fired it up, they captured something inside the chamber. They are calling it a fourth dimensional ghost. They can't see it, but they know it's there. And they said they can't control the direction of particles. And this chamber is supposed to be working in 11 dimensions.
Right.
Just mind around that. They said they can't control the particles while their experiments kept failing. But now they've captured this ghost particle from the fourth dimension, and it helps them control which way the particles travel. They can't do it without the ghost particle.
Wow. I've heard.
My head was exploding, you know. It's like, all right, I'm never smoking nothing again.
Well, you know, to get a little nerdy, you know, different dimensions. And there's a great book. It's just a fictional book, but it's called Flatlander. It's a really short book, and it kind of goes along with the dimensional thing. We can experience dimensions below us. We can look at an image, a flat image drawn on a piece of paper, and see that as a 1 or 2 dimensional image. Right. We can experience 3D. We live in 4D, but we can experience all the dimensions below us. But we can't experience anything 5D, 6D, 7D, anything above us. So there's a lot of theories that the different dimensions, different whatever you call them, life forms, beings, existence, planes of existence, that they can experience what's happening to us, but we can't experience what is happening there. So basically, we are primitive. We live in a primitive existence.
The other thing that was suggested, I believe this was their final point. So they had CERN, religion, and their fourth one was a gentleman, and I can't remember his name. He's not like he's a tech mogul, but he's not as popular as Musk. He has built, and I believe it's called D-Wave, a quantum computer, and they had clips of things this guy said, and based on those clips, their suggestion is he's been manipulating time with his quantum computer, and that's why you can find logos that say Sex in the City, and you can find logos that say and instead of in. Mm-hmm. You can find logos of Oscar Mayer that have the E instead of the A. And like I said, I've got 3 or 4 more that weren't popping into my head as I started this.
He took away the Monopoly Man's monocle.
Weird stuff like that that's just disappeared out of history. That makes a lot of people, you know, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it makes a lot of people thinks something's going on. Mm-hmm. And then the weird like credibility things where you know, Sally Fields is saying my name has never had an S on it and it's never been used like that, but yet you can find posters all over that has just some weird unexplainable glitches in the matrix is what I would call them.
Here's another one. I was while you were talking, I was looking up some other ones. The Steamboat Willie did not wear suspenders.
Lily just and this was one that was on the show too. Berenstein Bears, the spelling of the name. Mm-hmm. Fruit of the Loom.
Yep.
Things like that we've used throughout our recent history, and we have all the names wrong. It doesn't make sense.
You know, another famous one that we all saw that movie in the 90s, Shazam, with the comedian Sinbad.
Yeah,
we've seen the movie.
Exist.
I have seen the movie. I know.
I can't find it anywhere.
I watched it over and over again as a kid. It exists. But it doesn't.
So one of the theories is if it was caused by CERN, they say, mm-hmm. is, you know, this multiverse thing. It's in all the movies now. People talk about it. So there's scientists that believe in it. They're saying that in a multiverse, the theory is that the universes closest to you would be the most similar.
Yeah.
And one of the scientists thinks that when CERN fired up the collider, and I think it was 2015, they had a huge problem. He thinks that they cracked it. They cracked this barrier between the universes, and that we collided with another one, and that's why people remember stuff one way and other people remember stuff another way. Very, very interesting.
And now a guy like Donald Trump is our president.
Well,
we're in the bad place.
You know, being someone that wants peace and love and acceptance for everyone, no matter what your color or your background, you know, the thought that crossed my mind is maybe we crashed into the hateful universe, and that's why this kind of behavior is happening and is tolerated.
It never would have been in my childhood. This behavior never would have been tolerated.
You would have never heard of a president doing things like this. This is tyrannical. I mean, I don't like to jump. I don't like to push things too far on the morning show.
Right.
But if this isn't tyranny, folks, I don't know what
If your
is.
7-year-old acted like that,
It's time
you
to
would-
jump up and shout.
Yeah.
It really is. It's time to jump up and do something and quit backing one of the meanest, most hurtful people I've ever seen in history.
Yeah, you would not let your child behave the way that man behaves.
You would not let your girls sit down at a table and have dinner with this man alone. Why should
No.
he be president?
Right. Yeah,
All right,
gross.
let's
Anyway.
get ourselves out of trouble, Chuck,
Right.
and lighten the mood with some odd news. And if you don't agree, you're sorry, and open your ears and listen.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your odd news on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, I worked really hard this morning. I spent an hour and a half before the show just working on sound effects for this segment. All right? All right, here comes Chuck Ritchie. He's kicking it off with the news attack. First sentence, true. Second sentence, bad joke.
All right, so North Korea, they're in the process of constructing potentially their largest warship ever. And the ship will feature state-of-the-art 1970s technology.
Stolen technology.
They have a bomb that'll almost reach the shore.
The captain's quarters will also share the country's only Netflix account.
Wow.
Yeah. In Korea, it's like, 100 million people all using one Netflix account.
Right? The shared password.
All right. Zoom experienced a widespread outage on Wednesday. Darn. You mean we won't be having our weekly Wacky Wednesday team meeting?
No.
At least it didn't happen during the morning show.
Oh, that's funny because I was in a meeting yesterday where everyone's like, oh, Zoom's not working. Weird. Yeah.
Yep. Nationwide, baby.
Crazy. I didn't even know that till just this minute. Research shows a link between snoring and a decline in mental ability. Wow. You know what though? That has a lot to do with how many times your spouse hits you in the head to stop your snoring.
Oh, it's so true. But that's really scary because I bring down the thunder when I sleep.
Yeah. Did you ever get smacked in the head?
Oh yeah.
Woke
yeah.
up?
Pushed out of the bed, all
Stop
sorts
it.
of stuff. Yeah.
What is wrong with you? and then she asks that sometimes while I'm asleep too. What's wrong with me?
How dare I sleep and make
Right.
noise? And he said, well, honey, it's better than the noises you make. Oops.
For those of you interested in relationship advice, that's not a good idea.
This is why Scott's been divorced 3 times. All right. In Italy, police found a man, but I'm cured now. I stopped.
Wow.
After the third one, I quit marrying girls cold turkey. And it's 20 years. I haven't been married since.
Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there a handbook for that?
I was on a run when I was young, though. Just kept tripping.
Boy, back in my 20s, these were wild.
In Italy, police found a man lying in the middle of the road. He was fine. He just wanted to stop cars for assistance because he had run short of fuel. Forget hitchhiking. I'm just laying down on the freeway.
Wow.
All right, that was a good one. I gotta quit laughing.
Wow. In India, an 18-year-old threw himself into a well to force his parents to arrange a marriage for him. Wow. They did, and 2 days later, he left the well to marry his new bride. Their honeymoon plans include Niagara Falls.
Well.
What do we have here? Wow.
On to Wacky But True. We don't add anything to these stories, but clips from movies and television show, which Scott was trying to brag about how hard he worked on. All right.
You do work hard, Scott.
Okay. First one, a driver in the UK suffered a broken nose after a frozen sausage was thrown through his open window of the car. So a passerby whipped out a sausage, tossed it through his window, broke his nose. After the sausage assault, the man managed to stop his car without hitting anybody else. So apparently when he got hit by the sausage, he hit some people.
Wow.
Yeah, let's find out about those sausages.
You broke my nose, man!
A broken nose, that's the way it goes.
Does he have like super gross hands that look like they're made out of big pink sausages? Like eagle talons mixed with squid?
Oh, you broke my nose! Oh, there's so much blood! Your nose is broken. How's it look? That's an improvement.
Order the double cheese and sausage.
Oh yeah, I sure do love giant sausages. Giant sausages, no way!
I'm Abe Froman, the sausage king of Chicago. Yeah, that's me.
I love that bite. I don't know why.
Right?
Had in the past couple of weeks, do you realize we've had 5 different odd news stories involving sausages?
No, I didn't.
I didn't realize it till I went back in and was making the sound effect, and I was like, how did I get all these clips about sausages already?
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Yes. All right, we're moving along with Chuck.
All right, so United Airlines flight experienced an engine fire shortly after takeoff.
One.
Oh, I skipped one. Oh, yes, I did. Police in England received reports of a reckless driver. Officers then pursued the vehicle but stopped its occupants and ran, but they left behind their phones, some cash, and a plastic tub containing their drugs.
Let's find out more before we leave this story behind.
He left his old troubles behind, all right, but he was heading straight for a whole mess of brand new trouble.
They've escaped? Yes, but fortunately for us, they left something very valuable behind.
We'll come back for all that stuff later.
Oh, no. I forgot.
Naps, I left it in the car. I forgot the car.
Who is it?
It's Dave, man. Will you open up? I got the stuff with me.
Who?
Dave, man. Open up.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave. Come on, man. Open up. I think the cops.
Dave's not here.
I got my 2 hands up. I surrender. Come and lock me up. Here forever.
Dave's not here, man. Why is that one of the funniest skits of all time?
I have no idea. But it's almost kind of got that like who's on first feel.
Yeah. Oh, Cheech and Chong. I've never tell you I got to speak to Tommy Chong on the phone while he was in prison.
You did?
I did. Yeah. Weird scenario. It's a long story. We don't need to get into it, but yeah, I did. Yeah. Very nice guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Did you just randomly call a prison phone number or was it planned?
You know, I was remodeling somebody's house and this person was friends with Tommy Chong. And was talking with him, one of his good friends, and he had been telling me about working on his house. And he wanted me, so he's like, hey, my friend Tommy wants to say hi to you. I had no idea he was talking about Tommy Chong. And he's like, yeah, I've been telling Tommy about all the great work you've been doing. And I'm like, okay, sure. You know, he's like, my friend Tommy wants to say hi. I'm like, all right. And I picked up the phone and I was like, hello. He's like, hey, man, hey, Chuck, how's it going? I heard great stuff about you. And I'm like, oh. Tommy. Tommy Chong. He's like, yeah, man. Like, wow.
Rush with greatness.
From the prison payphone. Tommy Chong. Incredible. One of the best things that ever happened to me in my life.
United Airlines flight experienced engine fire shortly after takeoff due to a rabbit strike. That's right. We know the universe has merged because we now have flying rabbits.
A rabbit strike.
A rabbit strike. Serious business here. United Flight 2325 departed from Denver International Airport, headed for Alberta on Sunday when the incident occurred. Well, it's nice that Canadians are still letting our planes in. The Boeing 737-800 was carrying 153 passengers and 6 crew members. Passenger Scott Wolf described a loud bang followed by significant vibrations. He said every few moments there was a backfire coming from that engine and then a giant fireball behind it. Fortunately, the aircraft returned safely to Denver.
Wow. Okay, nothing in that story explains how a bunny rabbit got in the engine. I need more details. What?
I do too. So I guess we have to fill in the blanks. Like maybe the plane was heading down the runway, it's about to take off, and the bunny at the end of the runway gets scared and jumps really high and gets sucked right into the engine.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. All right. Should I do,
Yeah.
This is your disclaimer. The following sound bites may include some violence about bunnies.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for a white rabbit.
Oh, so scared.
Look, that rabbit's got a vicious streak a mile wide. It's a killer.
That rabbit. Who cares where he's going anyway?
And remember, if you get into any trouble, rabbit season opens today.
Run away, run away.
I've never been rabbit hunting with a plane. This is awesome.
That's wild. You know what's funny though? You read about how it had a giant fireball behind it. I totally read that the first time as a giant furball behind it.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
It was on fire.
A fiery furball.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. So
hey, look! I found a rabbit's foot.
It's a little charred.
I'm lucky.
It still eats okay.
Wow. It's mostly cooked.
Wow.
All right.
I need a moment.
Let's smuggle some ants.
All right. 2 Belgian nationals were arrested in a Kenyan country known for various national wild parks, are accused of attempting to smuggle animals out of the country. The teens were charged with wildlife piracy after their arrest with 5,000 ants. Wow. Wow. What about the uncles? Which the Kenya Wildlife Service says was part of a larger scheme to traffic rare ant queens and other ant specimens to Europe and Asia, where they'd be sold to collectors. The teens were found with the ants in 2,244 test tubes filled with wool that would allow the ants to survive for months.
Oh, at least they were being careful.
Don't bring African ants here. Don't.
I'm feeling itchy now.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. You piece of dirt. No, I'm wrong. You're lower than dirt. You're an ant. You ants stay back!
When you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then maybe try a few.
Right. Here I go, for the colony, and for oppressed ants everywhere!
Yay! There's something missing from that one. There was always a kicker sound effect, and that one didn't play. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
All right.
Yeah, it seemed a little short there, like an ant.
I don't know what it was, though. In the UK, an ambulance was called out to help an injured woman. When they arrived, the ambulance crew saw 3 men and a woman standing around a pigeon. Ambulance crew asked if they had called an ambulance for the pigeon, and they said yes. A member of the ambulance crew said they were surprised to learn that the ambulance service. They were surprised to learn that the ambulance service is for humans and not animals. Language barrier meant the call handler in the control room believed the patient was a woman, not a pigeon. Well, I had a hard time with that one. All right, let's find out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got big eyes, big beak, big feet, and he's big and ugly.
Well, don't stand there with your beak open. Say something. Explain yourself. Your tongue's flapping, but no noise is coming out of your big mouth.
It's not got a beak.
I'm sorry, but I just like to touch human skin through a surgical glove, that's all.
That's all.
Ew. I work for the local ambulance crew, but I only rescue birds.
Of course. All right, last one here. In Thailand, a woman organized a funeral for a lizard she believed was possessed by her deceased 12-year-old son's spirit. Mourners gathered at the woman's home for the farewell. Aww.
Eye of newt in there, tree mold, old lizard brains, scales from a rancid sea serpent.
Imagine how strange it would have seemed during the Pliocene age to forecast that worms, fish, lizards that crawled over the earth were going to evolve into us.
The devil lizard fingers. Oh, I hope that hurt, lizard boy.
Devil lizard fingers? I asked for spleens and blankets.
So long, lizard breath.
I've been told that before.
Nothing like a good spleen blanket special, especially with a fried egg on top.
Spleens and blankets. All right. That is our show for today. Thank you, the listeners, for being here. Big round of applause for you. A reminder that tonight on the radio, what do we have, Chuck?
Tonight we have Out of the Woods from 6 to 8 p.m., 8 to 9 p.m. for Kelton a Twist. The 9 to 11 is Acoustic Cafe. Also want to remind everyone that the signups for Chihuahua's Got Talent are still out there. The form for being a sponsor for the event is out there. Tickets are available. You can go to kchw.org to see those, or I'm going to refresh that up on our Facebook page later today and get that information out again. We need
why don't you pin that one for the tickets to and the forms maybe to the top if you can.
Yeah, I will.
Find it easily. Also, tomorrow is the deadline. So March was our membership drive month. Tomorrow, we talked about it last week too. We were given a little more time. Tomorrow, if you haven't got a membership in, those business level memberships get a thank you collage announcement where your business is mentioned. And if you want to get in on that, you have till Friday to get your business membership. It's $102.70, and it comes with some bonuses. And you can find out all that information online as well. KCHW.org, NorthernLightsPublicRadio.com. Then next week, so actually you've got Friday and then through the weekend, but next week we're gonna get all the new members and make the new promo for 2025 thanking everybody. So if you want to get in on that and hear yourself on your name of your business on the radio, or your family, it can be a family, it could be an individual, you just have to get that gold level membership of $102.70. And of course, you're supporting public radio in Stevens County, all around Stevens County, and you're just keeping the music playing. And it's very important, especially with the current attempt by the president to get Congress to stop funding public radio in the United States. It could be very, very tough, and we could lose a lot of especially the PBS stations and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. They're in real danger right now. So get that membership, and don't forget it is tax deductible. There you go. And I think that's all I got, Chuck.
Before we go, going back to the Chihuahua's Got Talent sponsors, I need to thank Chihuahua Flooring and Sharon and Gino Ludwig. They are just signed on to be sponsors for Chihuahua's Got Talent. So we got to mention them.
And Sharon and Gino have sponsored, I think, what is this, number 7? They've supported all 7 talent shows with a sponsorship. And
very cool.
Of course, we know they're big on the arts. Thank you, Sharon and Gino.
Thank you. And if you
we got the ball rolling, and that's the important part.
And if you have one of those forms, I believe I've sent them out to all of our sponsors, all of our members. Be sure to get those back to us, because we need to know to get those names and logos on the posters, so we can get those posters reprinted and get them back out there with your shiny logos all over our posters. We'd love to have.
It's going to be time for the show before we know it.
Exactly.
And we'd like to get all those sponsors ironed out before we start doing the talent tryouts. So there's that 3-week process of tryouts, and I think you got an extra week in between them. So tryouts, and then show.
Tryouts, a week off to practice, rehearse, take a week off, and then the show on the 24th. Yep.
So it's coming up. If you want to be a sponsor, and that money that you're donating is not going to the radio station, even though that's a great cause. It is going to the performers as prize money.
There is the sponsorship levels that come with seats. We are taking off the money for those seats, because we need to cover the cost of the seats. But everything on top.
But if you buy a table after the tickets are covered, everything else is going to the contestants. So just trying to be upfront. Yep.
Exactly.
And then one more time as we head out, guest tomorrow, Chuck. I know you're gonna you have a musician.
Our guest tomorrow is Kenny Walker. He's a local musician with his new album Spokes and Spurs. So there you go.
Nice.
I don't know. I can't see the camera. There's a delay.
I
so
can
can't
see it. I can
okay,
see it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
A little blurry version of it, but I can see it.
Yeah, we got him coming up tomorrow. We got lots of other musicians and stuff coming up in the next couple of months. It's going to be some great stuff. So tune in right here
You're
tomorrow
doing
morning.
great stuff, Chuck. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. All right. Well, that about does it for our show today. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, listening. This has been the KCHW Morning Show right here on KCHW 102.7, your Northern Lights Public Radio. Goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye, Scott.
Bye, Scott. I'll see you Tuesday, Scott. And you know, Scott, I'm gonna miss you. I don't know if I can live without me.
That's generally how it works. Goodbye, everybody.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
He is mocking me.
Put that cookie down! Now!
We are the Wild and Crazy Dogs!
Concludes the broadcast from World Control.
It's 9.
Just